Santi, a pump fake, a drive, and a slam! Santi Aldama, the reverse slam! Holy cow!
I think just based on how people talked, about how multiple people talked, it sounds like, Santi Aldama will start training camp ahead of Jake LaRavia and David Roddy in sort of the pecking order, which I think, again, to be expected. He's a second-year player. They're rookies, all late first-round pick.
What's going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzly homer, Memphis X, and I talk hoops. Today, we are going to talk about the power forward position for the Memphis Grizzlies. But first, every hero needs their theme music. Yeah, Coach Taylor Jenkins has been hinting at this basically every time somebody's talked to him. That Santi Aldama was going to get the first crack at being the starting power forward, and I'm pretty sure if anything goes back into Taylor Jenkins' history, Santi Aldama is going to get the first chance, and that chance is going to extend through preseason and to the first part of the season. So I think that Santi Aldama is going to be the starting power forward for the Memphis Grizzlies unless he's just terrible. And I don't think that's going to be the case. And I know this news is going to be shocking for most Grizzlies fans. Santi Aldama was probably less than ideal last year. And it all started out, with the summer league. It was bad. I'm going to let Drew Hill tell you about that.
Which is Santi Aldama is going to be the starting power forward on opening night, and he's also going to play in the rotation for the entire season as long as he's healthy.
Now, see that I like that as a flag plant. So I have this. It's my fourth one, and I'll just talk about it now. And I'm halfway with you on this. I do think he'll be the opening night starter. I'm not sure about the full season thing. I think he could be. This is what I'm going to write about. My second column this week is about everyone's focused on who's going to start opening night instead of Jaren. But that's a part-time opening. There's a full-time opening. Kyle Anderson's gone. Someone's got to replace Kyle. Yep. And in some ways you would think Tillman's the next man up. I think it's complicated for Tillman because he can't play with Steven Adams. And I think to be a fourth big in your if you have a 4-man big rotation, for the substitution patterns to work throughout the game, your fourth guy has to be able to log minutes with the other three, which is what Kyle Anderson could do last year. They would play Kyle with Steven Adams. They would play with Brandon Clark. They would play with Jaren. I think if it's Tillman, you look up in the middle of the game, you're like, well, wait a minute. We don't want to play Tillman and Steven Adams together, and it's a problem. So I put Aldama ahead of Tillman, not only to be the starter on opening night, but in terms of the pecking order for the season. But what I wonder is if effectively the fourth big is going to be more small ball. It's going to be if ultimately John Conchar is your fourth wing and Santi Aldama is your fourth big, are you going to manage your rotation in a way that gets you more Conchar minutes because you're going to get shift up and play Dillon at the 4 and get more minutes for your wings? So I'm mostly with you. I think pecking order wise, I put Aldama ahead of Tillman, not only opening night, but for the season.
The reason I feel like this is going to happen is, one, I can just sort of get the sense that beyond media day that there is a lot of confidence that he is a real NBA player. I think what sticks in the minds of like fans is the first impression of Santi, which was his first summer league, which was bad. And Santi will tell you that it was bad. He acknowledges that. There were some factors that went into him playing bad that people don't think about, right? Like he had an injury, a knee before that, came back, played in a few games, whatever. And he had flown over from Spain just before Summer League, gets off the flight, does the press conference when he's introduced, goes straight out to Summer League and starts playing in games. He didn't participate in the combine, didn't do any of that. He wasn't really playing basketball before that. And I think that all kind of contributed to him not performing well and just being a
bit later. But on why it was so bad, and this is why I tried to keep emphasizing to people in my last Santi Aldama video. of why his summer league was so bad, but the one thing about it is his summer league was bad. He did not play well for the Grizzlies as far as shooting. His shooting was horrendous for the Grizzlies. He only played in 32 games. He played in 32 games last year, mostly garbage time. You know, the Grizzlies had a lot of blowouts, so it was mostly garbage time. He only shot 40% from the field, 13% from three-point line. Now, you really can't take anything from his numbers on the Grizzlies last season because most of it was in garbage time. But even when he did get some sort of chance in non-garbage time, his shot was not good. His finishing was weak. So he had a long way to go. Now, the encouraging thing to people who didn't really keep up with Sante at all outside of the Grizzlies was that he performed a lot better for the Memphis Hustle. As you can see, his shooting from three-point range went up to 27%. He shot 49% from the field, averaged 22 points and 9 rebounds a game, 2.3 assists, 2.4 turnovers, 1.3 steals, 1.3 blocks. So there is some talent there that the Grizzlies saw. There is some talent there. And you can see he was 5th in the G League in player efficiency rating. And he had a real high usage in the G League. So, you know, his player efficiency rating was 25.5, which is real good. But, you know, the G League it's something that you have to watch. He did have some real good games in the G League. He did play pretty well in the G League. So that gave him some promise. And then the Summer League happened. And Santi Aldama had a really, really good Summer League because his shot was falling and his finishing around the rim was better. He averaged 16.8 points, as you can see, 7.8 rebounds, 1.8 blocks, shot 57.1% from the field, and 38.1% from three. It was named All Summer League second team. And since then, every report from the Grizzlies about Santi Aldama has been a glowing report. They've been reiterating it, you know, publicly and behind the scenes to guys, you know, media that they talk to, that they have a lot of confidence in Santi Aldama. So we're going to see if that confidence is misplaced. We got a preseason game coming up Saturday at 7 p.m. against the Bucks. So I'm sure he's going to get to start. I'm sure he's going to get plenty of minutes. I don't think the starters are going to play that much. I think they're going to really, really try to get him some time and the young guys some time. But they're probably going to really try to put him into some real game or Grizzly game situations. And hopefully his shot is falling, because if his shot is falling, then as a 7-footer playing power forward, he has the best chance to kind of mimic what Jaren Jackson does on the court, at least offensively. Now, defense, he might provide a little bit of rim protection, a little bit of shot blocking, but he's not going to be able to provide the defense that Jaren plays, especially on the perimeter against, you know, smaller guys. So that's going to be an adjustment. But if he can even somehow look like a credible player, I promise you, this is going to be like the greatest Grizzly miracle ever as far as the draft is concerned for me, because even though I knew his circumstances last year during Summer League, he did not look like a guy that even belonged in Summer League last year. So he has come a long way, obviously, and he's going to get a chance to prove himself. But there's going to be a lot of competition. You got Jake LaRavia, David Roddy, Kenny Lofton Jr., and I'm sure you're going to have Xavier Tillman try to make his, you know, because Xavier Tillman, he's on the fringe of the roster, so he's got to make his presence felt this preseason, and we're going to see how it goes. Now, the last thing I want to talk about that you saw on the thumbnail is about Jaren Jackson. Now, a little birdie has said that the Grizzlies will be having a Black Panther night. I think it's going to be the 18th of November, where they're going to celebrate. And I think it's going to be based around, Jaren's character. As you can see, that he calls himself the Black Panther. And that is my little hint that Jaren Jackson might be back by the 18th of November. And if he is, that will have Jaren missing at the most 15 games of the season. And to me, that is, for me, that would be a best case scenario for Jaren's injury outlook. But, these things can change as he rehabs and tries to ramp back up to full speed. Things can get delayed or it might get sped up. Either way, I'm hoping for him to be back by Thanksgiving. And if so, I think people are really underestimating the Grizz. That's what I've been saying all summer. So you guys, let me know in the comment section what you think about Santi Aldama getting a chance to be the starting power forward for the Memphis Grizzlies to open up the 2022-23 season. And what does that mean for Zach Kleiman being the greatest drafter in NBA history if he can hit on Aldama, if he has 2 30th picks starting in the starting lineup on rookie deals that he's drafted at the beginning of the season? Man, just put your cape on, man. You the king or the king. Let me know what you think about this video. Like this video and subscribe to my channel. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers before we play them dreaded Warriors on Christmas Day. Until then, peace.